On November 19th, 1997, the anime continuation of the Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball GT, would air its 64th and final episode, with Piccolo becoming the Bouncer of Hell, Goku going off with Shenron, and the new era of heroes like Goten, Trunks, Oob, and Pan to help protect the Earth. We would discover that 100 years after Goku's death, that the Earth was fine as the descendants of Goku and Vegeta were fighting at the World Martial Arts Tournament with the world still in peace. While GT as a whole was quite meh compared to the other two series, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, the ambiguous ending to the long-running franchise, which began in manga format 13 years prior, was well received. Most fans in the West, though, wouldn't be able to experience GT until years later. It wouldn't be until 6 years later after when Funimation started releasing dubbed episodes of GT in early of November 2003.
It's crazy! Like he knows exactly where I'm going to appear before I even get there!
GT wasn't necessarily hated by the West, but according to a lot of fans, it was not up to par with the amazing Dragon Ball Z, but still, many accepted as the official continuation, and the end of the series. And then...
just go back to where you came from!
Go ahead and come at me with everything you've got.
Let's kick things up a notch, yeah?
I will defeat you! So tell me, how does it feel becoming a god?
With the release of Battle of Gods in March 2013 in Japan, and pirated versions leaking to the West soon after, we were introduced to retcons of sorts, as Battle of Gods takes place shortly after the events of the Buu Saga, introducing new characters like Beerus and Whis, and giving Goku a brand new form, Super Saiyan God. Immediately, people tried to fit Battle of Gods in the storyline with GT, even though years before this, in a 2007 interview, Toriyama Sensei himself had already proclaimed that GT was a grand side story, which would mean it isn't an official continuation of his original works, it's a side story. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods was the first movie to be a part of the official main storyline. Despite Toriyama's statements, Battle of Gods was somehow shoehorned into a timeline with Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT by many fans. Unfortunately for them, soon a second official movie would release, a sequel to Battle of Gods, Revival of F, which gave Goku and Vegeta the form Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, a blue-haired form, and brought Frieza back. With these further showing that the timeline of GT and the new main continuity of Dragon Ball can't mix, as no Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan exists in GT, and neither do Beerus, Whis, and Frieza was never mentioned to having returned again, and he didn't have a golden form when he fought Goku. After Revival F, many people stopped trying to fit these movies into the same timeline with Dragon Ball GT. Most people, in fact, although people do this to this day, they will still somehow try and fit the entirety of Dragon Ball Super into the same timeline with Dragon Ball GT, which just can't work. But with the Dragon Ball Z movies being converted into 2 arcs by new anime and several arcs later to come, this led to one of the greatest fan wars I've ever seen or witnessed or been a part of. Dragon Ball GT fans and Dragon Ball Super fans have been at it for a while now, even before Dragon Ball Super was even released. Many people claiming what's truly canon, which version has stronger characters, and just which overall is better. So I just want to talk about this fan war and each aspect of it, so let's just start off with canon. So canon might not be the best word to use for discussing the storyline of Dragon Ball, but in my opinion, it really is the best word to use here. I can't think of a different one. This is a pretty easy one to determine who actually won this one. It's Dragon Ball Super. It was worked in as sort of a retcon. It changed the storyline, and because this happened before GT, GT doesn't happen. There's too many things different that happened in Super to even consider them in the same timeline together. Toriyama, the actual creator of Dragon Ball, had much more involvement in Dragon Ball Super, unlike with GT, where he primarily worked on the very bare bones basic of the story in just the beginning. And Super, Toriyama not only worked heavily on Battle of Gods and Revival of F, but has been working alongside Toyotaro to further develop all of the other story arcs taking place after Revival of F. With GT, Toriyama has called it a side story. With Super, he's never called it a side story. Sorry for people on the GT side, but Dragon Ball Super wins this portion of the argument. While the world of Dragon Ball canon is weird, it is more accurate to say that Super is more canon than GT. Now the second portion of this great fan war is the power scaling. Which iteration of the series has the stronger characters or the stronger transformations, and this is where it can really get ugly. This is where people get really mad, and for some reason this is the most important to a lot of people. I just don't know why how strong characters is a value in any war of this nature. I mean, My Hero Academia characters are fodder to Dragon Ball Super characters, but My Hero Academia is a much better series. But I guess it's my subjective opinion. But anyways, in Dragon Ball there's a lot of fighting, so I can also see why this is important to people. It seems Dragon Ball GT was actually winning this battle of this war from the beginning. I mean, it made sense. GT features a much older Goku who trained for much longer. Of course they should be stronger, right? I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people fail to believe that Dragon Ball Super characters are stronger than GT characters, because the power creep featured in Dragon Ball Super is absolutely insane, and in my opinion is a smear mark on this series. Power creep is typical in Shonen, but the amount of it in Dragon Ball Super was just meh. I mean, Goku in GT literally trains for 15 years after the Buu Saga, gets a new transformation, yet Goku in Dragon Ball Super performs a single ritual, becomes a god, and is now stronger than Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I feel for the GT fans here, that is some bullshit. Hell, I was actually a soldier in this battle of the Great War. I've created a few videos for both sides of this conflict, debunking people wanking GT, but also debunking people who downplay GT. This is really what the conflict ends up being. Make the other side look worse, i.e. make the different versions of the characters weaker so that theirs wins. Now, I'll get back to my contributions in this battle in a bit, but let's get back to the outcome. Like I said, it really did feel that GT had won this battle, but there are a few key members in this community who really helped turn the tides of this battle. One of them is notably Seth the programmer. Seth is the biggest power scaler in this community, and the reason I give him a huge amount of credit for turning the tide is because of how influential he was. His videos had plenty of views, and he swayed the minds of likely hundreds of thousands of people, if not tens of thousands. A few years ago, I was pretty much a normie when it came to power scaling. I used to say that Super Saiyan 4 Goku would easily defeat Super Saiyan Blue Goku or Vegeta. Then my friend told me I was wrong, and he told me to watch Seth the Programmer, and that would show me why I was wrong. At the time, Seth had 9,000 subscribers and was growing pretty fast. It only took a few videos explaining why and how Dragon Ball Super Goku was actually universal, and that showed why Dragon Ball GT Goku was in fact a weaker version. Pretty simple, Dragon Ball Super Goku has multiple feats that just scale way stronger and faster than his GT counterpart. I mean, for example, the best thing Super Saiyan 4 Goku did was use his Dragon Fist, which was more powerful than Omega Shenron, which Omega Shenron could destroy the universe. While Super Saiyan God Goku in his fight with Beerus, a few punch clashes alone, and the shockwaves of that produced was going to destroy the Macroverse in 3 clashes. Now Goku gets even stronger with a fight, so Super Saiyan God Goku's shockwaves from his punches can destroy the Macroverse, then a technique punch from Super Saiyan 4 Goku, strong enough to kill Omega Shenron, who was going to destroy the Macroverse at a much slower rate. Yeah, that means that even the lowly Super Saiyan God Goku likely defeats Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But then, super fans really do try and downplay GT. So one day I decided to make a video that Super Saiyan 4 Goku was stronger than people thought. In my findings, I found that Goku was way stronger than people thought in GT, and I had thought that I found that he was stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku from the Battle of God. Now, I ended up being wrong, because what I really did was I thought I was giving an accurate measurement of Super Saiyan God Goku, but I was really lowballing him by mistake. So even a version of Super Saiyan 4 Goku who is stronger than people thought was still weaker than Super Saiyan God Goku. I actually debated Chuck the Cybercuck and he beat me. Now, I'm not great at debating things that I haven't debated before on a live debate, and so yeah, he pretty much destroyed me. But I know I could have done better, but even if I did do better, I still would have lost because there's just way more evidence showing that Super Saiyan God Goku is more powerful than Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT. I've also made videos of people from the GT side just wanking the crap out of GT characters, like when people had said that Super Saiyan 4 Goku could fart and defeat Beerus. People saying that Super Saiyan Goku from the beginning of GT could defeat Beerus. People saying that Super Saiyan 4 Goku could take on all 12 Gods of Destructions and all 12 Angels at the same time and defeat them easily. I'm not kidding here, these are actual claims by fans of GT with no evidence substantiated. So for now, I'm going to give this to Dragon Ball Super, at least for on the internet in the West. I would say most people on the internet in the West would say that I mean, I think it's more so that people would say that Super is stronger. The information is more available now, and even if the information war is lost, it's still basically a fact that Super Goku is stronger than GT Goku until proven otherwise. Now, when it comes to the final battle of this great war, which is the better version, well, that's all subjective, but we can talk about ratings. Most ratings will put Dragon Ball Super greater than Dragon Ball GT, but there is a, bias here, and that is that the beginning of GT is absolute garbage, which means a lot of people will drop it and give it bad reviews after dropping after the first saga. So that could affect its rankings. So it could be higher. I put GT and Super on an equal scale. I like them equally as much now. But that's my subjective opinion. But if we're going to go overall, what's the better show to the masses? According to review sites, we will have to pick Dragon Ball Super. It is consistently ranked higher than GT and usually has more reviews than GT. So yeah, I'd say that Super wins this one likely as well. Of course, this is the one that's hard to measure because it's subjective, and then a lot of review sites are not the best because you could never have watched a show and give it a good or a bad review. You could have only watched a part of it and given it a good or bad review. That's just how a lot of review sites work. So because of that, we're gonna have to go with what we have, and so Super wins all 3 of these major battles. So Dragon Ball Super has probably won this great fan war. Although, guys, come on, I like GT, I like Super. So I participate in both sides of this war. A lot of people probably have as well. This shouldn't even have been in a war in the first place. Just accept that GT is not a official part of the story anymore. It was a good side story. We got some cool stuff out of it. We got some cool transformations. And heck, maybe Toyotaro, when he becomes the successor, if he does, he'll pull some things from GT and put that into his own version of Dragon Ball. Maybe that'll happen. But the thing is, it still exists. Dragon Ball GT is still a thing, no matter what, even if it isn't canon. And as fans, let's just hold hands and be friendly with each other. No more anime wars. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Who do you think won the war? Who do you think should win the war? Let me know your thoughts. I mean, like I said, I love GT. I love Super. I like them both. I've contributed to both sides of this, at least in the power scaling part. And even I've defended GT on a narrative scale as well. But let me know what you guys think. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn notifications to be notified every time I upload a video. Also, check out my second anime channel, Broku no Hero. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Peace out.